Hello, welcome back to the boat shop. Today is, oh gosh, I think the 27th of March, 2024. Just a quick update of what I've been at this past week. I got this thing hooked up. I mentioned that this pump was the same one that I was using in the boat, so I just thought I'd go with that, and we'll see how they last. I know they aren't terribly expensive pumps, but they seem to work all right. They come with a strainer. They come with half-inch pipe and then these adapters to go to, So they seem to be a efficient little pump. We'll see how long they last, though. And once we're done with it here, we can use it as a spare in the boat then too. But I've been cleaning up in here the past couple weeks, getting things a little better organized so I can work on the other side of the boat. And this is one of the projects I wanted to get done before I start on the next side. And this is going to be basically more or less a fiberglassing table. And it's on rollers, so I can move it around wherever I want. And then it's also got little ratchets so you can lock the table in place. Yeah, let's get you outside. No, go outside. You're too noisy. Follow the dog. Yeah, follow Archie. There you go. Alright, it's got little ratchets, rubber feet that ratchet down so you can fix it in place and level it, which is probably more practical for like a piece of machine equipment than it is a table like this. I probably would have been just better off going with regular locking wheels, caster type of wheels like these, but this should work all right. And then in the event I want to do something where I want the table perfectly level, I can do it too. Excuse me. And I put a couple bearings in here. These weren't very expensive, but so I can put 2 rolls of whatever up here, fiberglass cloth, of course, now, and in the future when I want to do some other material work like cushions inside or I don't know if we'll have a whole lot of exterior work to do, but maybe sailcloth, who knows. We'll see. But anyway, I rounded these corners a little bit and sanded them and then put a couple coats of paint on them, primed it, and a couple coats of top coat. I didn't want the fabric to be catching on things, so I wanted it just smooth enough to be able to do that. And just regular, that oil-based paint that I use on most things. That way, if I get it scratched up, which I will, I can just sand it a little bit and slap some more paint on it. So then I put a shelf underneath, so I can, things that are pertinent to whatever project I'm working on, I can keep them under there and have them handy. And I kept the shelf back in, so there's no issues whatsoever with walking or getting your feet under it, so you can work right up next to the edge of the table, which is probably important since it's over 4 feet wide. These fiberglass cloth sheets are 51 inches wide, I think, so they'll wide enough that they'll cover a 4x8 sheet of plywood. So I framed this on the outside edges with 2x6s to give me 3 inches wider table to work with. And then I also had to push these bearings out to hold the rolls in there so they weren't rubbing. So yeah, that all worked fine, and I just used mostly pieces of scrap that I had laying around. This was a new sheet of plywood here, but that sheet of OSB down there is an old sheet that actually came as a packing material on for like sheets of plywood or something, something that I'd ordered. And then the framework here is 2x6s, which is material that I have left over from bottom planking, stuff that I rejected for planking. And these 4x4 corner posts, I had that's Douglas fir also, but I had that stuff, I don't know, for years. I've had a piece of it for whatever I bought it for. Actually, I think I used it when I was putting up buildings. I used it as a big long beam on my loader to pick up the frameworks for things like this here. Probably I bought it when I was doing those other buildings over there, though. So anyway, we got this table done. It's ready to go, and with that in mind, that means I'm ready to start working on the port side of the boat, and I have sort of started. If you can see the first 16 feet here or whatever, I've been filling screw holes, plating and sanding, getting that ready to accept plywood. And yeah, probably tomorrow those epoxy layers are screw holes that are filled with epoxy there will be cured enough that I can start sanding that and then get the first sheet of plywood on up here. But I think what I'm going to do, you know, on the other side I said I wasn't going to sand and fill the whole, you know, do the whole surface of the boat, side of the boat at one time, and I did. And I don't think I'm going to here. I said I wasn't going to do it over there, then I did anyway, and I don't think I'm going to here. I think what I'm going to do is leave these two pieces of scaffolding connected together and just get as much done as I can and then start working the scaffolding forward. So it should give me a couple days, you know, when I'm waiting for fiberglass to cure or epoxy to cure on the fiberglass, then I can be doing the same thing on the side of the boat. And of course, within all this, there's also a lot of sanding and planing and whatnot to get the surface properly, you know, dressed for the sheets of plywood to lay on there, because there are some edges that need to come down or whatever. But there's a bit of work there. And yeah, I had the shop all swept and cleaned up, and you know, now I've been doing all this work in here, and it's all a mess again. So yeah, that didn't last very long, did it? But I thought, you know, I probably should spend some time at the end of every day and spend a half hour and sweep up. But man, that's a lot of, that winds up being a lot of wasted time. So I don't think that's going to happen. We'll just let it go until it gets to the point where it needs to be cleaned up, and then we'll clean it. But yeah, so that's where we are. I haven't been doing anything inside, so there's nothing to report in there. Just a lot of moving of plywood and lumber and a lot of sweeping and whatnot. And then this thing, of course, took a couple days to do this, but that was actually pretty quick and easy. But yeah, we're starting on the port side, and hopefully that'll go, yeah, somewhat better than the starboard side. Now that we've done one side, maybe it'll go a little faster, a little easier. We shall see. I don't anticipate it going just a whole lot faster, because there really isn't a whole lot you can do to make epoxy cure faster, other than warm the temperature up, which if we ever do get warmer temperatures again, which we did in February, and now March has been just the opposite. We just had that big system, which I'm sure a lot of the country went through, but we had a couple inches of rain and then just wind for 4 or 5 days. Couldn't hardly walk from the house into here. I mean, I was fighting that wind. It was horrible. Could barely move. And then we had snow, of course. You can see a little bit of snow out there again, but yeah, that's the way it goes this time of the year. You just never know. But April is less than a week away, and generally April starts giving us some nice days, and that'll certainly be nice. So that'll do it for my update for this week.